like what I remember Southern Marin used to be like back in the day when I was a kid growing up in Timberland.
You just have to give us diet stuff.
Yeah.
Like what you want or not want.
You know, it's got to leave at 3.
Oh, okay.
Should I put this on? I gotta get this thing.
Yeah.
So
All
what's
right.
the deal
Everyone
here?
wants to get going here, so let's.
Okay, so you get about
right about like this.
Right
And don't go like this. Stay like that.
You don't say bad words.
Yeah, don't
I know, I was waiting for everyone to tell me, don't say
Don't
such
swear,
words.
don't swear.
Because
Okay.
I like to swear.
I'm
you
the
know
bad
that.
word
So put
guy.
your-
No, I'm even worse. I bet I'm worse.
Put your headphones on,
Okay.
and if you notice, you can hear me fine, but if I go like this, you can't. So if you need to talk to these guys, you can either do this or just kind of look at them.
Yeah.
Just don't move your head.
Yeah. Don't worry about
And
looking
you
at
get
us.
about that close to it. So
I got really close.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
And after we're done, I gotta check with you on the schedule because I think you have it next week and the week after. It's kind of crazy. So let's.
No, you emailed back to me.
Right, but it's not next week. It's
Next week is fine.
Okay.
It's the week after you want to do a Wednesday.
Right.
It's October 5th or something.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Cool.
Okay, so how do
He
you?
did his homework.
Oh, yes, he did.
Oh, gosh.
So Bruce.
Now you go ahead and
Should've
introduce
said
him
it.
and
Oh,
introduce
him,
both.
and you can introduce Eva.
Do you know
Okay.
how to introduce me,
No.
Bruce?
Tell him.
No.
Tell him how.
Okay, so Eva Brown,
Okay.
policy analyst, child rights advocate.
Okay.
Got it?
Gotcha.
You got it.
How close are you to the mic?
I'm really
You
You're
can't
too,
get
you're
any
too,
closer.
yeah, you're a little bit too close there. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so the first thing we do is we do a 2-minute interlude here. Usually it's Bruce and I just doing this, and then we cut to the.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Ready? Here we go. Well, welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. You know our show. It's where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality. Now, today's show is going to be very special because we have 2 guests in the studio.
We do indeed.
First, we have David Vogelstein, who, as he pointed out to us earlier, he's either a criminal or a criminal attorney, depending upon which perspective you
I
look
plead
at.
the fifth.
He pleads the fifth. And who's our other guest?
We got Eva Brown, who is I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself before I
Absolutely.
screw it up here.
You're not going to screw it up. So I'm a policy analyst
Okay.
as well as a child rights advocate.
Okay.
So I speak for those who are too little, who don't have words to put out into the world.
Okay,
Sounds good.
And we're gonna all relate this to sports and business.
There you go.
Somehow we will be.
Somehow, some way.
All right, and let's see a couple things. Want to mention paintball? Come on,
Oh, boy.
Go
I'm
on,
excited.
There, go on to the Sports Econ 101 website and click on it. They make great birthday and holiday gifts, and I think you get over 80% off
Sweet.
by clicking on there. So definitely do that. Today's sports trivia is going to just be general sports questions. I'll keep you in suspenders on that one. You don't know which sport it's going to be until we ask the question.
All right. Sounds good.
This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding, get this, over 8% secured by Bay Area real estate. That would be
Wow.
San Francisco Bay Area real estate.
That's right. Northern California.
Yeah, we got. They actually have some Southern California and a couple out of state, but mostly it's the Bay Area.
And this is the place that we're spoiled. Let's face it.
Very much so.
We are spoiled.
Now, actually, if you invest outside the state, you can get higher interest rates, but they like to be more conservative and keep it around 8%.
There we go.
All right, so it doesn't get any more conservative than that. You got to check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. So don't touch that dial because you're listening to Sports Econ 101. When we come back, we're having 2 guests, David Vogelstein and Eva Brown. All right, don't touch that dial again. We're going to be right back. All right, so that's our 2-minute interlude, and we're
It's
coming
hot
in.
wearing these things.
I'm sorry.
Stop your whining. Jesus, you're going to need a separate trailer.
You know, we used to have a problem when I was at KNBR. Sometimes we get a feedback in the headphones, and it was like a shot of. It sounded like somebody had fired a blast of electronic, like that. What the heck? You know, it's happened at least a dozen times.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, only on
Yeah, for
remotes
years,
actually.
yeah.
When I was on a remote,
Yeah.
because of something to do with electronically engineering wise.
That's why I used to have the little tiny ones. Even these are a
Yeah.
little too heavy. But yeah, I know those.
And you just
But
have
those
to
are good quality.
not even acknowledge that.
Well,
Another time I was on stage and this guy, we were doing a show on stage at a Candlestick, and this truck was moving and it bumped into the stage very slightly and started moving the stage. And the stage just going, whoa, 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 and the engineer's going, whoa, and I just kept talking. That's what you got to do. You just got to kind of stay
you know
focused.
what you can do? You put them a little off your ears speakers, you can
Yeah.
still kind of hear.
I do this. I do one here and one over.
Okay.
That's the way to do it.
All right,
Yeah,
so
maybe.
you got some good stuff for us? Then you're gonna pipe in.
Yeah,
Hype.
yeah, I'm
Basically
ready to
just-
rock.
you're ready to
All
rock.
right. I don't think
Darn
we're
it,
gonna
I should
have any
never
problem.
told David I was going to do some research.
I
Never gonna have any
Damn it.
problem
I
filling
should
an
know
hour
that.
here.
Don't say damn it, and
Oh,
be careful.
sorry.
Don't hit your hands on it because you hear the.
I talk with my
Yes. I know, but Vern, I had to get him a towel.
Pad.
He kept pounding on the towel.
Yeah.
look.
Vernon gets
You hear that?
enthusiastic.
So you can't do that.
Very
His son is just as excitable as here.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
He's got 3 sons.
A couple of them are like more calm, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, but
And his wife's intense too.
here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan, and we're going to start off with David Vogelstein, criminal attorney.
Yeah, so I've done my homework for this. I'm
Yeah, I
super
know.
prepped, super ready to rock here.
Let's go.
And so I wanted to give you some background information. Did you know that prior to 2009, there was no standing for the national anthem in the NFL? All the players were in the locker room.
Which is what they did with the
Oh,
women's
yes, that's
soccer
true.
this last couple
Interesting.
weeks ago. Yeah.
Now,
Why did they bring? Okay.
Why did they bring them back? Exactly. Why? It was money. The United States government started paying the NFL millions
right.
of dollars
That's exactly
to
right.
bring out
Wow.
the support for the military, to do advertisements for various branches in the military. So when you criticize Colin Kaepernick for giving us what people have done in this country for hundreds of years, which is support revolution in the face of injustice, you have to be circumspect about where the national anthem came from.
When I got circumcised at 8 days old.
You got
I'm
circumcised,
sorry.
you say?
I knew you were going to say that. I have no comment with the last name like Vogelstein. Sorry.
I got to throw something in here, and this is just a pet peeve of mine. For years, I've always thought the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, is an interesting. Are we having problems there technically?
Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. Just I'm not hearing myself. There we go. I was going to say, for years we've had a problem with people complaining about the national anthem. I don't think you're hearing me there.
Yeah.
No, it's cutting in and out, my friend.
Okay.
I think we should. I think we should just
Hold on.
take that microphone.
Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
there we go.
Okay. There you go. It works now.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the national anthem, and I think a lot of people may know this, but the words were written by Francis Scott Key. I believe there are 4 verses, and it was actually a poem. And the poem is adapted to an old English drinking tune from the 18th century called "To Anacreon in Heaven." And
You mean the tune?
the tune
The tune,
itself,
okay.
which was married to the words.
Okay.
So he was not a musician. He was not a composer. He was a poet.
Gee, what a surprise.
And he was watching a battle during the War of 1812.
Yeah,
The British were bombarding Fort McHenry in the Baltimore Harbor. So I don't know if many people realize this. And it's interesting too. You listen to the Warriors years ago. The Golden State Warriors, the NBA, used to actually have their national anthem soloist, a fellow by the name of Forrest Pritchard Jr. And the reason I know this guy, he used to outfit me at the Rochester Big and Tall because I'm a big guy, and he would sing the 3rd stanza of this thing. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand. And it was completely different from what we're used to. And the people were going, what are these words? What is this? This isn't the national anthem. But it was so cool because it was so different. Everybody loved it. They got used to it. It became kind of like a little tradition when the Warriors won the championship that year in 74, 75.
Well, basketball, the
Long
NBA
story
requires their players to stand during the
Yes,
national
they
anthem.
do.
The NFL does not.
Yeah.
There is no requirement that you stand.
What about baseball?
Don't know about baseball.
What about curling? Well, what about bowling?
Well, I don't think they even play the national anthem. But one of my friends, a politician, raised the interesting question, why are we playing the national anthem at sporting events if the government is paying us to do it? Is that paid patriotism? Well, what is that?
Well, it's a captured audience is what's going on. You've got
Mhm.
millions and millions of people who are watching what's going on every week, and which is a wonderful thing. But getting back to Kaepernick, my concern is that he's not using this as an appropriate jumping off point. He's got celebrity, and I think that he could use this in a much better way. I had no idea about 2009 and getting paid money through national security. I don't even know what we're talking. You know, but the point is that I just feel like there's so much more that he could use his celebrity towards. This is a great thing, but in a different venue.
Well, the one point that I had made with Bruce a couple weeks ago was if he wanted to go against Ferguson, the city specifically for the police. That's one. But sitting for the national anthem, it's like the United States isn't guilty.
Well, what he's doing.
This is called symbolic speech by the United States Supreme Court. It is symbolism.
I'm sorry.
It is something, and by the way, it is something that people like my dad fought for in World War II.
Yes.
And when my dad was telling me about Skokie, Illinois, and how the American Nazi Party was demonstrating in Skokie, Illinois, right after World War II, I, as a young kid, asked him, "What are you talking about? How can this be allowed?" And he said, "This is what freedom is about. This is what makes us special, that we take the viewpoints and the actions that we don't agree with, and we allow it." So
I think more importantly than all of this, though, too, is the fact that he wants to start a dialogue, because right now, the tension that exists, and again, this is not a sports topic per se, but we're talking about an athlete who's getting involved. The tension that exists between our law enforcement officers and people, not just of color, but poor people or dysfunctional people who are out in the streets. Everybody. It's gotten to the point where it's reached epidemic proportions.
Yes,
We had an
it has.
incident a couple of days ago where an innocent man was shot by a young woman officer because she freaked out and panicked. Everybody is scared. Everybody's on edge. We need to get a dialogue going, and that's Colin Kaepernick has mentioned this over and over and over again, and I think it's a good thing. If you look at what sports has been able to do in the past, from Jackie Robinson integrating baseball in 1947 to Tommy Smith and John Carlos standing up with the gloved fists in '68, this is how this country moves ahead. We don't sit back and let things fester. And right now, this is a huge problem in our country.
And
today.
by
It's
the
one of
way,
many.
he has guts doing this,
Yes,
because
that's
he's
true.
been
That's
receiving death threats.
Yeah.
He's all alone there, pretty much, out on this island.
Well, no, he isn't. He isn't actually alone anymore. There are a lot of players that are supporting him,
Right.
including Chris Long, who is a white player for the New England Patriots, a veteran player who actually said, "I agree with Colin Kaepernick. He says I wouldn't do this myself." And like Eva was saying, the platform, he didn't agree that it's the way to do it, but he respected it, and he also said maybe it's time that we get something started here.
By the way, this kind of protest, we may not like it, but that's exactly the point. The Constitution protects what we don't like. And if it allows the Nazis and the KKK to march in the name of our Constitution and freedom of speech, so that the light of day can shine on these horrible ideas, which is the purpose of that freedom, then this
I don't think he
protest.
should be arrested. I'm just saying.
He has been receiving death threats.
Yeah,
Well,
he did
which is
it
wrong,
recently.
of course.
Yeah.
But I'm
Well,
saying
there's a lot of.
the platforms. Like, is there a different platform that he
Well,
can
where-
still
No,
get
this
on?
is the one that makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is the one
Where
we
else
talk
can he-
about.
Where
This
else
is
can he do anything?
Is when he gets interviewed after a game.
Well, he has been.
I
He
think
has.
he
He
should.
has spent 15 minutes, after practice the other day, and another 15 minutes recently. And unfortunately, we live in a soundbite society, and people don't want to sit there and listen for 15 minutes. They want everything packaged in nice little neat. And I know, because I worked in the media for many, many years, and still do. Everything has to be keep it tighter. It's this attention deficit
Well,
thing.
the other thing was, is that if I remember correctly, if an announcer hadn't noticed, it would have gone unnoticed.
Well, it probably would have gone unnoticed for a few
For a
weeks.
while.
Yeah. He wasn't openly soliciting the media. Colin Kaepernick has never been the most gracious guy or the most open guy to the media
No,
to
but
begin
what happened
with.
with the fro? He didn't used to have a fro.
Well,
Yeah, I think
well,
there's a lot going on.
one thing we know about the fro, that it wasn't the Jew fro.
we
We know that, right?
Well,
Yeah,
this season, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
This may sound really crass, but it's like parents, black, white. And I've heard this adopted. I've heard all this stuff on YouTube.
But don't spend time
I
listening
know.
to YouTube. I mean, I'm not, no knock on YouTube. They
I
have their
saw
purpose.
it on Wikipedia. I saw it on the internet. It's
Yeah.
got to be true.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here. Well, you learn a lot on sports.
Oh boy,
What's
we're
Yes,
having
you
some
do.
fun. We're having some fun.
Okay, here's our
Yeah.
first general sports question, right?
Okay.
And if you know the answer, don't say it yet. You have to answer. Wait until we come back from commercial
You
break.
got it.
What is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling. The minimum number of balls. Remember?
Yeah.
Think of it. Not talking about per frame, but for the whole game. All right. That's our question. Email edward@sportsecon101.com the answer to that question. And don't touch that dial because we're going to come back with more exciting
Fireworks.
Fireworks, I guess you could say. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Question.
Why
What
not?
is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling?
The Rockets red glare.
Sports
Bombs
Econ 101.
bursting
We'll
in
be right back.
air.
You guys.
Damn it, David, you did your homework. I just said nothing. Oh my
No,
god.
you did your homework.
Oh, I'm so glad. No, I didn't. You did
Okay,
great.
and
Who
off the
did
top of your head, you
2009?
know.
Oh my
I'm
god.
looking for under shit disturbers on the internet.
You know, this is being recorded on YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it's
Hi.
on.
Wave to the camera
Hi.
and don't
I
swear.
don't know how many people watch it.
Oh God,
Six.
here I go
It's too
again.
late
Right,
for
yeah.
that. The
I
swearing
watched
is
a
gonna
few.
happen.
I watched a few of these shows. It's funny because I look, how many views? Oh, we've actually had 6 people watch this.
Yeah.
It's true. 6 people. That's pretty
Unfortunately,
good.
I had 12 children. I didn't-
Oh,
Well, you know what's funny? The one I got the
They
most
share a
views on
computer.
was Dr. Michael Cheratino, who ended up being a drug addict.
Oh,
guy.
that's right. Yeah,
But-
yeah.
I mean, I gotta
He
say
has
it
a
was
lot of
pretty
friends.
funny. Yeah. or
This
just-
was for the business show, right?
It was the business one.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was here on the sports one too one time.
Okay.
But
You know, I was going to say something about Kaepernick black-whiteness thing because I saw this thing and this guy was like, you know, mother was white, father was black. I don't know. One day I woke up black, one day I woke up white. Every day I don't know, but let me tell you what it's about right now. This country's a mess. And I thought,
It's
oh
like
my
being,
God.
I feel female today, so I'm going to do X. You know?
Well,
But these kids
Well, we're all
are
buds.
confused because they literally are. I mean,
they
my
are
my
confused.
daughter's boyfriend is half black, half white. His grandfather was in the Tuskegee Squadron. His
Yeah.
father was a Vietnam vet who came
wow.
back from Vietnam, went crazy with the dashiki and the
Yeah,
afro,
yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah.
became a protester.
Listen.
Then went to Harvard Business School, and
Yeah.
you know, so
I
he's
have-
a little confused.
Yeah.
My mother was half Indian. My father was half black. And then the rest of it was half Chinese. So
So
Yeah.
what are you? Kung
I'm
Fu?
a third something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Edward's a former Jew who is
I'm
now a
former
Christian.
Jew.
Well, no, you are.
I'm a
You're Jewish.
completed Jew.
You're a complete Jew.
David's half. David is an uncompleted Jew. He's still wandering in the desert.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's not get off
You
on
don't
this
want
one.
me to curse on
All I'm saying
Edward,
is,
I
you
think
are
that-
still looking for the Messiah.
Okay.
My mother says she was the Messiah.
My mother said
And
I
I
was the
ain't
Messiah.
arguing with that. That's the difference between us.
All
Okay.
Jewish mothers think their sons are the Messiah.
No, my mother said, fuck you, I'm the Messiah. Did I say that? No, that was not the
That's
Jew
okay,
in me
that's okay.
talking.
It's okay.
Too much fun, I'll tell you.
That's a nice thing about doing these shows. We can be very informal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't be more informal, I think.
Is there any criminal stuff we can talk about?
So the question is Colin Kaepernick committing criminal acts? Is he violating his contract? Can he
Oh,
be
okay.
fired?
And we should
Yeah.
talk about that with relation to the owner who is
Yeah.
supporting him and actually giving money to his cause, whatever
Right,
cause
because
it is.
this is San
But what
Francisco.
cause is that?
If
you
this
know?
were Philadelphia,
Well, it's,
he'd be out on his ass.
He's also said that he's going to take, I think, money from the proceeds of his selling the jersey and the first $1 million of his
Wow.
salary this year and put it towards whatever needs to be, spent to get people to sit down. Whether that means, giving people pay for their, cops for their time off.
How
to sit
about
down.
developing a
Just-
gun that doesn't shoot bullets but that renders the person unconscious with electromagnetic pulses?
Well,
Why
yeah,
can't we
right.
develop that?
I don't know.
It probably is. They just don't want to use it.
Yeah.
You know, I just.
Beanbags, whatever.
No, forget the beanbags. Just point the gun, shoot, bam, you're unconscious.
You know, there was
I'd be
another-
shooting myself with that gun.
Yeah,
There was another gentleman that was just shot and killed. Was it yesterday?
a couple days ago by the
In
female
North
Be-
Carolina.
by the female
Yeah.
rookie cop.
Was it
Yeah.
female?
Yeah,
Okay.
she was just
She panicked.
she panicked and freaked out, and
Alright.
he
He
had his hands in the
No,
air.
but he was walking
He
away.
had
He wasn't
nothing.
obeying commands, and he
Oh.
was reaching
Oh.
into the car.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And when you are left with one alternative,
Yeah, yeah.
you take that alternative.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They
Yeah.
are
And
left
why
with
don't
one
people just
alternative.
listen to instruction,
Yeah.
No.
Well, everybody's
Well,
free.
maybe he didn't hear. Maybe had a hearing.
Yeah, or maybe he's
Issue,
mentally
you know?
ill. Like there are not many of those running
It doesn't
around the
sound
street.
like he had
In a
any
way?
criminal record. From what I understand, he
Yeah,
didn't
but
have
that
a
doesn't
criminal.
mean He had
Yeah.
he had PCP in the car.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, PCP,
Oh,
big
boy.
guy, uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay, you guys
All
ready?
right, yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Here we go.
Sobering.
I gotta go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. First trivia question: what is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling?
I think it's 24, isn't it?
I think it's 2.
12.
22?
2.
11.
Dude.
11?
11. Why?
Yeah, 9 strikes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I keep
Right, you
thinking
have
it
9
too,
strikes, and then on the 10th, you take 2 shots.
Two
and you
shots.
miss.
Only
Yeah,
in bowling.
Only in
Well, he
bowling.
would know that because he's a bowler, Edward.
I had to
That's
look
right.
that one up. I got it
Yeah,
wrong too.
Yeah.
How many did you say first?
I was thinking 12.
Have you ever rolled a perfect game, by the way?
Only in practice, but I did, and I also shot 800.
That's because we come from the same faith, Edward.
Let's not get off on that one now.
I know.
That's a
I
topic
don't
for a
know.
whole different
That's a
show.
whole different topic. 'Cause
Yeah.
we got to educate Bruce over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so David Vogelstein, criminal attorney.
So I have a question. Is Colin Kaepernick violating the terms of his contract?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I support what he's doing, but, his contract is
What
his
does
contract.
the contract
What
say?
does the contract say? I have no idea.
Right.
But the real question is, even if he is, will the owner call him on it or not?
Well, the owner's already said that he's supporting him. As a matter of fact, the owner, Jed York, is giving $1 million to his cause. Now, whatever that cause is, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good question. What's the cost?
Well,
He has no, yeah, he doesn't have
Give it to the Edward Brown Fiji Island Fund. I'll figure out a good cost.
I think the big problem is how do you get a whole country of law enforcement people and a whole country of dysfunctional, not necessarily dysfunctional, but some dysfunctional people and people that are of color and people that are afraid of the cops together in one room to sort out their differences. That's a huge.
Quite frankly,
that's a huge
I
problem.
think it's a matter of training. We've had 10, 15 generations of police officers who have developed an us against them mentality.
Right.
And so it's really not necessarily just about black versus white. You're
Yeah.
getting black officers shooting black
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So what
Yeah.
it's about is getting rid of that us against them, getting back to neighborhood policing where the cops live in the community that they police, like
Good luck
where
with
I
that,
grew
though.
up. Yeah, good luck with that.
But that's
Right.
a good point.
And developing the necessary technology so that when they reach for a weapon, they know that they can use that weapon and completely, unlike a taser, completely disable somebody who might be a threat without killing them.
Well, and also, now, Bruce,
Yeah.
Bruce is a little older, but we both grew up in Marin at a time when I'm sure you're the same way, where,
Right.
you know what, if you did something wrong, the neighborhood mother would grab you by the scruff of your neck and bring you home.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she might even give you a swat, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But when you got home, you were scared because your parents
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
want to get
Dad
embarrassed
would
by
be
that.
there.
Dad, yeah.
So
that's-
for me, it was the big Irish crop on the streets of New York who would pick me up by the scruff of my neck and hold me up against the tenement and say, "If you do that again, I'm going to tell your dad."
I think there was a
Yeah.
lot more. There was a lot more, not only local policing, but there were people that sort of, I wouldn't say took the law in their own hands, but they wanted to help raise kids, sort of almost like a big brother that is watching out for them. And now we live in a society which is so paranoid and so much on edge, and a lot of it is fueled, unfortunately, by the media. I work in the media. I know television for a while still is doing it with
It's
the violence.
changed.
They're
It's
limited by the rules and laws that be. I mean, as
There
a
you
parent,
go.
you cannot. There's certain ways you can and cannot
I told
discipline your child.
I told my daughter, please turn your cell phone off when you come to the dinner table. She was going to call CPS on me. I mean, when that
So,
happens, come on.
When we grew up, there was no juvenile court. The only juvenile
Mm.
court was the officer on the street. That was the street justice. There are too many laws. There's too much interference in our personal lives.
Personal lives.
And what that means is everybody treads cautiously, and the manipulators, i.e. our children, are out there in force trying to manipulate their
Yeah.
ability to not do the homework and not go to the dance even though they're punished.
But
and
let's
all
face
that
it, too,
stuff.
there are a lot of kids and people that grew up in very dysfunctional homes, and when you don't have those parents around, to guide you, I mean, I sound like a conservative. I'm not a conservative, but I mean, what I'm saying is the amount of drug abuse and alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse is ridiculous. But the lack of parenting, I think, is the big problem in this country. How do you get people to be responsible parents? I mean,
Well, maybe by taking away some of their money, because as a criminal lawyer, I found that the more money people have, the more self-entitled they are, the more they
Thank you.
they give their kids money instead of discipline and love,
Well,
and it ain't working.
Well, look what happened with Brock
Thank you.
Turner. Is that his name? The
Oh,
Stanford
that's
young guy
Stanford,
with
the rapist. Yeah.
the swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where his what his mother basically, or mother or father, somebody had said basically, it wasn't so bad what he did. But,
She was
So
asleep.
if
She
you
didn't see what
take
she
that
was
one
doing.
message and think about the messages that these parents were sending this child for 18 years, you can do no wrong,
Yeah.
you are the best, no rules apply to you, we can get you out of
I
anything.
know. That's,
And then how do you expect people not to act badly or not to control their behavior?
Good point.
There's no incentive for them not to.
And quite frankly, in this county, that's a major problem.
It is a
Oh
major
my
problem.
gosh.
God,
Yeah.
We have the best schools of probably any county in the state, maybe in the country, and yet we have one of the highest alcoholism rates
No,
and
it's
drug
not.
abuse.
It's not one of the highest.
It
It
is?
is the highest teenage drinking rate in the state.
Wow. Is that right?
Yes.
And,
Wow.
and they're not all drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon either, I can tell you that.
I know. I go home and just kidding.
Makes
Empty
you wanna
bottles
slam down a few.
everywhere.
Oh,
The 16-year-old slumped over at the diner.
I mean, not to make light of this, but I remember my parents were not heavy drinkers at all, but my dad always came home. My dad was born in 1920. He was a fighter pilot during the Second World War, and he was an architect, and he enjoyed his job. But he used to come home and have his cocktail. Gin, his highball is gin and tonic.
It's called moderation. It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
balance.
But he had just one or maybe two. And one time when I was in my 30s, he was in his well into his 60s by this time. He asked me if I'd like one, and I said sure. And I drank half of this thing, and I was like, whoa. You know, I'm not much of a drinker, but I mean, it was 100% alcohol. It was gin and vermouth.
Wow.
It tasted good,
In
but boy.
our day, though,
Ooh.
there was some method to our family. Every night at 6 o'clock, there was dinner with your dad who was home.
Yeah.
There was no 24/7 bullying of high school kids. We could go home, no matter how horrible our experience was that day. We could lock that door in our bedroom and we could hide. We didn't have
Most of us
Be
could.
safe.
Most of us.
Most of
Really
us,
be
yeah.
safe.
You
It's
talk
true.
about the internet bullying
Nowadays,
cyber-
kids in high school, kids on high school sports teams, they are exposed to the universe 24/7. It's very tough
all
on them.
turning on off the computer.
Yeah.
You know, I know
We
it's
have a
still
Well,
lot
it's
hear
not just
about
the
it, but
it's your
the phone.
It's your
phone.
phone,
Yeah, but I mean-
it's your, and their homework is on their computer
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
working on their computer.
Yeah, I've got
So true.
I've got an 11-year-old at home, and I'm an older dad, and my wife is a special ed teacher, and we constantly have to limit her screen time. And she understands that, but she gets a little upset sometimes when that computer is or that a tablet is taken away, and she can't look at her favorite show or text her buddies or do FaceTime. 11-year-old kid. God Almighty.
So
It's a crazy world.
I coach high school. I have watched kids over the last 10 years in the sporting arena, in the competitive arena, whether it's academic sports or physical sports. Their whole mental process is changing. They don't know how to look you in the eye. They have trouble talking. They can work the phones like magic, but they can't do what needs to be done in regards to one-on-one, one-on-three communication. That's a problem. They have trouble writing.
Well, especially
They
in
don't
sports,
read
it gets
books.
kind of worse because
But the kids, I hate to say this again, there are not enough kids that are taking part in sports. Sports is a great way for you to learn discipline and learn focus and learn concentration and learn to relax and learn to be a good teammate. And again, getting back to Colin Kaepernick, I think Colin Kaepernick, generally speaking, is a pretty together young man. And now, granted, he had a lot of success early, and it probably was the worst thing that could ever happen to him. He got his team within 5 yards of the Super Bowl championship at the age of 24. Now, suddenly, his team, the team around him, and the coach that had faith in him, they're all gone. So he's working with basically a whole new team and a whole new set of situation, surrounding his opportunities. And I think maybe this whole revelation about what was happening, away from football that kind of struck him. I think it just he had time to think about it. And as he got older, he's 27 years old. He's not a kid anymore. So, he had to speak his mind. And the interesting thing is, as you guys point out, he did not go out and solicit this. Some, sharp-eyed reporters saw him on the sidelines kneeling. There you go.
And the truth is, this will make him stronger, and in the process, make the team stronger.
And it'll make the country stronger. All these things always do. Even the negative things, they always seem to help.
Well, what if his teammates are not in support of it?
They are, though.
No.
Not all of them, but I've already covered a couple of their games, a preseason game and a regular season game. He has two of his teammates, Eric Reed, a defensive back, and there are two other guys that raise their fists. On the other side of the field, he's had about 14 or 15 guys, and now the NBA players are standing up.
And you watch what's going to happen in the stands. There are going to be people supporting him and opposing him in the stands, which develops the conversation right now, which is the most important thing.
I don't know if it's still like that. They stopped doing the concession stands during the national anthem.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. I think it's all about the money.
And by the way, do you guys remember the Olympics, the black athletes in Mexico?
We mentioned that earlier. Tommy Carlos or Tommy Smith and John Carlos.
They were vilified for that, and now it was considered very tame in their protest against the way African Americans were treated.
Well, how about the way Jackie Robinson was treated? He had to keep a stiff upper lip for a year and take so much abuse, and it probably killed him all because he had to hold it all in.
Yeah.
He died when he was 53, I think.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's an interesting story about the Australian, the white guy in that picture with them, about how he supported them with his medal or his pin or something. Okay, second trivia question here. In water polo, what is the term used in treading water while not swimming? There's a specific term for it. All right, don't touch that down.
Not drowning.
That was my word.
We'll be right back.
You stole my word.
That's it, not drowning.
That's hilarious.
You should know this.
Treading water? I don't know.
We watched the Olympics. We watched water polo in the Olympics. What is the word?
There's a specific.
Like being a
I didn't watch
horse,
the water
like
polo,
knighting, or what do they call it? Horse
No.
galloping?
It's a kitchen term.
whipping. No?
Remember Christian used to do it?
Yeah, that was a lot of years ago.
He's giving you hints like an idiot.
I
Right.
know. Beating the water.
Close.
Oh. Slapping the water.
Oh.
Spinning it.
You
Stirring
need
it
to
up.
get the term. You need
I need it. Oh, egg beaters.
Yeah.
Egg beater. There you go, because your feet are doing
But what
this.
did you call it?
Egg
No, how
beater.
did you describe it though? You should have said a kitchen term that's being used. Listen to me, I'm correcting you right in the
Egg beater.
Gee, what a surprise.
I know.
This is
Right.
something
There you go.
totally out of character.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Exactly. Dave, you're
Oh
the
my
same
God,
way,
this
right?
is
You
so
didn't know if you were
heated,
born
you
first or married
guys.
first?
Yeah.
All I know is I was lobotomized at some point in my marriage.
That's after the
That's all I know because I'm still with the same woman, and every day seems to be
How
like.
long have you been married? How many years?
Oh,
Groundhog Day.
40.
No.
So we've been together since 1969. Our first date was Woodstock.
Imagine
That was our
Seriously?
first date.
you going to
Yeah,
Woodstock.
we've been
How old are you?
I am freaking old. I am 66.
60. Oh, you're only a couple
Oh,
years
you're
older
so
than me.
young.
So you were like 19 at Woodstock.
Right, I was
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
We started living together. We got married 3 years later. So
Wow.
married.
Wait a minute,
what,
living
40
together in that day and age? Whoa.
He was a rebel.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
didn't
people
know
did that
David.
all the time. They
You
just
did
didn't
not
stay
know
together
David.
that long.
I know.
Rabbi
Most of
David.
them. Yeah.
You guys,
Rabbi
this has been
David
so much
was
fun.
living
I have to
in
dab.
sin.
Living in
Okay.
sin.
You were living. I can't believe your mother.
Yeah,
Messiah,
yeah.
she should have.
You got kids too?
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
My son's 38.
Okay, so
He's a college
how do you
professor
wanna-
at Duquesne.
What time are you
teaching
gonna be
medical
done?
I'll
bioethics.
text
And my
you.
daughter's a
Okay.
special ed
Because if
teacher.
I can't
and
make
a
it back, then I'll.
communist
That was fun. I
revolutionary
couldn't get a word
union
edgewise
for the
between
Yeah.
teachers.
Well, it's because we
My wife is going under the knife on
It was
Tuesday.
great.
Yeah.
It's fun to listen to.
Cancer.
Oh my God,
She's-
isn't it fun?
And charged
Yeah.
a special
It's very
ed,
heated.
Mark,
David's
she's
Especially
awesome.
being a crypto.
I didn't get to say
My
Rabbi
wife
David.
is
It
an
was
educational therapist
Uh,
and an
so I have
ex-special
to
ed
run
teacher.
through November.
I'm the only
They're doing
non-teacher in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Birds
yeah.
of a feather,
We
your
always
wife and
text
mine.
each other.
Okay,
What?
so
Birds of a feather.
Right,
And
and,
Stephanie, I
and
think you'll say
Your
that.
truth
daughter,
is,
I mean.
I bet you, and no, my wife too.
Your wife too.
See you later,
I bet
sweetheart.
Take care
I'll
of
see you
yourself.
again. I will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's a small
Keep
world.
up with the
It's
good
like
work.
the,
In this
this
county,
guy over here is in the bright.
Let me
Nice
know
seeing
when
you.
we can.
Yeah.
Where are you
Thanks.
leaving already?
Yeah,
You got kicked out? Did he kick you out?
I didn't say enough. I didn't say Rabbi David. I didn't say FUCK. I was expecting that.
Tell David Pelfini.
I will. I have a card.
I told him that you.
Is he going to give me money?
he may give you a job.
Oh, okay.
Hey, this sounds totally tacky for me to ask. Are you Jewish also?
No, are you kidding me?
No, I just
It's never tacky to ask someone if
No,
they're Jewish.
no.
No,
It's never tacky?
No, but I.
Oh no, I mean it's always tacky.
Oh,
It's
you
always
came
tacky.
to our house?
No, but I mean you were raised.
I was raised Catholic. My dad was
Oh, wow.
Methodist, my mother
Oh my
Catholic.
gosh.
I know.
Wow,
Talk about
that-
it.
So
Crazy.
when we were growing up in New York, we always chased the Catholic girls.
That's
Are you kidding me? With the fishnet stockings and the
Yeah.
blazer?
Well, the reason I asked this, I had a girlfriend that I had a crush on in 4th and 5th and 6th grade, and then when I was 30, I just ran into her, and we had this wild affair. But her dad was Jewish, and her mom was Catholic, and she was not either. She was so messed up as far
Right,
as
I was just
religion.
gonna say very
She was into some.
Oh, I can't even
cultish
imagine
thing.
the
Yeah.
guilt.
cultish
Oh,
thing.
God.
Yeah, that's what happens when you
Yeah.
get the Catholic and the Jew. It
Oh, my
pushes them
God.
off.
I feel
off the
sorry for our
planet.
son. I feel sorry for our poor little kid. You know, he's even Christian. It's just like the child, just like we didn't realize that until he was in preschool.
Christian
We looked up there.
Vogelstein, I can
It
just say that.
Oh my goodness.
was a mess.
Uh,
That would
Okay,
be
guys, look,
Edward's
guys,
revenge.
let
She's
Edward know about dates
Yeah,
to, because we'd love to bring over
Yeah.
something.
No, well, she's going to
Delicious.
be laid up for about a month, but hopefully, knowing her, she'll probably, unless something terrible happens, she'll probably be up and about.
Eva's a very good cook.
We'll bring
I'd
her
love
something
to. Yeah.
amazing.
Well, then she must be
Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah.
Won't miss it.
Because
again.
I don't
Matzo ball soup
dislike
and
cooking, but I
stuff,
feel like
gefilte fish.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? You're
don't
hungry
like
up
matzo ball
like
soup?
with your daughter.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to it.
It'll be fine.
Thanks.
Well,
Thanks, Ava.
So
You're not
Tuesday's
cooking
the
it
day
when
that
my
she
wife
goes in,
makes
right?
it.
Tuesday, this
Those
coming
vodka
Tuesday, yeah.
and
Okay,
those-
we'll be
Vodka,
trying,
a little
and
paprika.
you see where she's gonna
Okay.
go
She's
to.
going into Kaiser in Santa Fe, and then she's going to stay with my in-laws who are in
We'll convert you.
Terra Linda,
We'll
which is
convert
right
you
nearby,
back.
so that Molly can have her
Hey,
normal
Dan,
school thing.
you have another
I'll be with
card,
Molly, and then we'll
business
come
card?
over and visit her and
Yeah.
help
Great.
out. It's going to be a little,
Why?
a little
Did you
kind
get
of crazy
arrested again?
logistically. We'll manage.
I know you are.
Yeah, we'll get through it. I mean,
Because
she-
that's
we've been 16
usually
months
when
of
people
this,
ask me
so
for like,
I'm
oh,
prepared for it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm at a
Yeah.
party and somebody says, you have a card?
As best you
Your
can,
son get
yeah.
arrested? Yeah.
It's like
I
the
got
storm
it.
is
Thank you,
here.
sir.
Oh my
Sure.
God.
She'll weather
Yeah,
it.
she will.
My office
She's
is right upstairs.
She'll be
I'll
around
be
for a
praying
while.
for her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what, yeah,
Appreciate
okay.
I'm really
I gotta
committed.
carry a
Thank
wallet
you.
like this.
Thanks, Ava.
We love you guys.
Don't, you're making fun of me. Come on.
Hey, you say
Yeah,
it
I feel right at home. My kids
Okay,
make
we got
fun of me.
One more segment to go.
One,
Okay. This is
yeah,
fun.
13 minutes. Yeah, this is fun.
That's kind of off the wall, but we're having a good time. Like,
We
off the
are.
wall, it's fun. I like it.
Which is fine, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
nice because they don't tell me what I have to say. You know.
Yeah, no, it's a free form kind of a program.
Anything specific? Else you want to?
Well,
Any curve? Is there?
how come nobody's talking about Colin's death threats? How come nobody is outraged
Okay,
by the fact
let's get into that.
that people can't see another point of view?
Yeah, no, let's
Yeah.
get into it.
Freedom of speech is what this country was founded on.
That's right.
In fact, the declaration,
Okay, say that.
Save
I'm gonna. We'll prompt you.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll
and we'll go back and forth. I'll
Okay.
try to take. I won't take devil's advocate, but I'll.
No, okay, that's fine. Here we go.
You know, you can if you want.
I'm good at that.
You are.
he
You are.
is good at that.
He is.
Unfortunately.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I gotta give him 5 seconds of silence. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Bruce McGowan, having way too much fun
Oh,
here on
always.
Sports Econ 101.
Always having
Yep.
fun.
All right, and we kicked the lady out.
Yes, we did. Well, she had places to go and people to see.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
You know,
All right,
yeah.
here's our second trivia question. In water polo, what is the term used in treading water while not swimming?
Well, you cheated us. You didn't cheat us. You gave us the answer. It's an egg beater.
Egg beater, that's
Egg
exactly
beater,
what
yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
What you
Okay.
do
I
with your
thought that
feet.
was like an egg substitute.
My daughter likes egg whites. That drives me crazy. When
Egg
I
whites, egg beaters.
Yeah, but once-
egg beaters are egg whites that are actually egg yellows.
Okay, it drives me up the wall. I like to make scrambled eggs, and she doesn't want the yolk, and I love the yolk. And she says, "Oh, no, I just want the egg whites."
Yeah,
I don't
without the
know.
yolk, no cholesterol. Good
I
for you.
understand.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind of like a rocky diet without the
Oh,
rock.
Yeah, exactly. Come on,
Well, and that other
gotta have the
voice
yolks. Come on.
who has been on our show the entire time.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much.
Having
In
a
the
good time.
studio, David Vogelstein, criminal attorney. Go ahead. Continue on with what you were talking about.
So I was wondering how come there's not this big uproar, this big furor that Colin's been threatened, that his life has been threatened with these idiots who don't understand what the Constitution is all about, what their fathers fought for, and what some of them died for in World War II and Vietnam and God knows where else.
Well, you know why, David? Is because we are such a stratified country. If you look historically at our history, we have never been in a situation where there has been more polarity since the Civil War. And if you look at, as an example for mainstream America, if you had a chance to see that movie Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis, and you saw what he had to deal with,
Yeah.
this is what we're dealing with today, a polarized society. And unfortunately, I think half of the people that are adults are not even paying attention.
Well,
They're just so turned off by the whole thing. They're not even going to vote. They don't care. They want to watch reality TV and text their buddies. And the rest of us are either one way or the other. You know, it's kind
in
of
the
sad.
1970s, a group of people went out on the streets in New York with a copy of the Declaration of Independence, and they wrote it up. It wasn't formalized, it wasn't fancy, and they asked people, will you sign this document? And they said, most of the people said, get this communist dribble out of my
Yeah,
face.
I know.
So
I mean, they didn't know. It was
they
the
didn't know it
They
was
didn't
the
know.
so
No, I remember
I attribute a lot of this to ignorance,
Yeah.
hopefully, but the amount of vitriol that is cast and that we cast upon each other is horrifying.
Well, it's ignorance is, they say the old saying is stupidity is excusable because it can't be helped. You know, you're stupid, you're born that way, and you're a level of intelligence. But ignorance is laziness,
That's a good
and
point.
that can be helped, and it's inexcusable.
Well, the truth is that if you look at the words and of the Star Spangled Banner, and you look at the Boston Tea Party, these were acts of revolution.
Yeah.
The words, the war that Francis Scott Key was talking about is exactly what Colin Kaepernick is talking
Well,
about.
I'm trying to remember about the War of 1812 because we'd already defeated the British for the Revolutionary
Yeah,
War 30-something years
It had,
ago.
it had to do with, it's a simple fact, and I'll get into it real quickly. What happened was the British Navy, which still ruled the seas, was taking our sailors, impressing them into the British Navy, literally pirating them off their ships. And our president at the time did not appreciate that, James Madison. And also that kind of helped to sort of rationalize the British trying to take some of the territory back that they had lost. And in fact, they actually entered Washington and burned the White House. And,
So basically,
Yeah.
the British were up for round two, and they lost
Yeah.
that round also.
yes, they did. They
That's a
did.
good way of putting it.
But the truth is, everything that Colin is talking about, the fact that we are uncomfortable with him doing this during the playing of our anthem, is what our revolutionary spirit was about. And so we should give it the respect it deserves, even if we disagree with it.
And here's another interesting thing about the revolution. Again, not to go back in time, but 10 to 20%, I think, was only maybe 20% of the American colonists
Yeah,
were really
more than
behind.
Yeah.
Were really behind the original idea of breaking away from England.
I think a lot of people are more looking at the venue of how he's doing
But
it.
how else is he supposed
Well,
to do
wait
it?
a second.
That's the problem.
His symbolic speech is not there to be acceptable to you, and we give him the ability to do this.
True.
We can disapprove of it,
Yeah.
but if you talk to the young vets who are coming back from Iraq and
Yeah,
Afghanistan, they are supporting him. Many of them are saying, I disagree with what he's saying. I disagree with what he's doing. But it is what we fought for.
I would be a little surprised World War II, let's say, those veterans specifically. If this
Well,
was
most of them are dead,
1946
unfortunately.
No, but
You
if
know.
this was 1946.
Yeah, but that was a different time.
I think it's a
You know,
different time.
much different.
By
I
the
mean,
way,
60
when you go
years
to the
ago,
polls,
70
Trump
years ago.
is spelled Trump. I'm getting death threats right now. Just look at it. You know.
Right.
That's going to be interesting.
Very-
The first debate. Not to get off on a political tangent. Can you imagine what that's going to be like? The fur is going to fly. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I think it will the Democrats have a history of shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh yeah.
They can't run a campaign. I was telling my wife they're going to screw this up. They got handed this thing on a silver platter, and they're screwing it
Yeah,
up.
they will.
Like,
Once
all I have to do is just
again.
say nothing.
Once again.
Yeah. Well, we'll
But-
see. We'll see.
But here's the real question. Do you want a guy who, if he didn't have all this money, would be committed to a mental hospital with his finger on the butt?
Okay, we're trying to
See, I'm getting cut off.
No,
I'm
no,
drowning here.
Sports. That's
Well,
all I don't
it
know.
Get
is
the egg beater going. you know?
It is a sport.
Yeah,
It is
politics is
it's
American.
a combat sport.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I go on Facebook and I post once in a while a political rant, and I am amazed how many people respond to it. If I post something that's of interest in sports, I get a fair number of people to respond, but not nearly as
Well,
much.
I like reading the people who
I don't-
disagree with you.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of
Some
that.
of my best friends are right wingers, and I mean they are far to the right. But hey, listen, I love them. They're great guys. They're just from a different viewpoint.
But
That's
see,
all.
you're
My father used to say, America gets the government that they deserve.
That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate your perspective because I know you're left of center. I won't
Oh,
say
yeah.
completely
No,
liberal.
I'm not like my parents who were socialists.
Okay.
My dad was a socialist, and my grandfather was a socialist who would have been blacklisted. He was a producer in Hollywood. He would have been blacklisted, but he wasn't Jewish. So all he had to do was sign a loyalty oath, which was bad enough. But he was getting out of Hollywood in 1947 during the communist witch hunts and getting into the academic world at UCLA as the director of theater arts. And for him to get that job, he had to sign a loyalty oath, which proved that he was not disloyal to the United States. And it was
Well, it's almost like people who are becoming citizens of the United States, don't they sign something saying, I
Yeah.
will become a citizen and I'll be loyal?
right.
Well,
Right?
I
well,
don't.
my parents were Holocaust survivors who came to this country and they did it the right way. They did it legally. Okay, so they had forged Nazi passports, but they had a job and they had a sponsor, and they came to this country when they were 16 years old. And when World War II broke out, my father enlisted at Fort Dix, was shipped out, 6 or 8 weeks later, overseas, fighting the Nazis, fighting at the Battle of Remagen Bridge, that famous bridge
Oh,
that they
yeah.
made a movie about,
Well,
and coming back a compassionate and, Edward, I gotta say, very liberal guy, who one of those older Jews who supported Obama
wow.
and who campaigned for Obama.
Now, was it mostly because growing up, a lot of the conservatives were anti-Semitic?
Well, it was that, and it was because he was an intellectual. He understood why he was fighting. He understood why his friends were dying with him in foxholes next to him with those shells raining down. He understood that it was about the Constitution and that meant that everybody got a fair shot. And growing up in New York at that time, Jews were kept out of the banking business. Jews were kept out of the fraternities on campus, even when I was going to college.
yeah.
Even
The late
in the 90s,
60s, yeah.
even in the 70s,
Yeah.
there was some,
Oh, yeah.
like the Olympic
So,
lovers,
yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it wasn't them, but
No
that
question.
sort of,
He did have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, no question about it.
And I can understand that too. I mean, again, I come from white Anglo-Saxon upper middle class background. I don't feel guilty of that at all. Believe me, I feel very privileged that it happened. But my world was very cloistered, and my dad, fortunately, and my mom said, "This is not the real world," and they exposed me to some things. I went and saw Martin Luther King speak, and got to meet Robert Kennedy, and it really made me interested more in what this country's all about. And I think sports is
So I'll
such an
tell
important part of
you
that.
a really cool JFK story.
Okay.
I'm coming home from junior high school. I'm like, 12 years old. I'm going to Wagner Junior High School on 76th Street. I'm standing in front of the Park Burnett galleries to take the bus on Madison Avenue home, and a couple of big guys come across the street, one of them carrying a TV set, and it's John F. Kennedy and 2 Secret Service agents while he was president.
Wow.
Me and my friend walk up to him where there was no big crowd. There were just 2 agents. We shake his hand, and he walks behind us
You're just a kid.
into the fancy hotel where he and Jackie were staying.
Wow.
And our feet could not touch the ground for about 6 months.
Yeah. You were, about 12 years old, maybe 11 years
No,
old?
I was 12 because
yeah.
by the time I was 13, he was dead.
Yeah.
well, you probably didn't experience this, but maybe your parents did. When my mom went to Texas one time in the 50s, I think it was, when they found out she was Jewish, they looked at her and said, "Well, where are your horns?" And they were serious.
That's funny because my
Maybe before
mother,
that.
Oh my
my mother
God.
came to this country and escaped the Nazis through England and then to San Francisco, and she took a job at a very conservative plant in Chicago for a short time. And when she walked into the plant, they said, "Well, we heard you were Jewish. Where are your horns?"
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
there's
Wow.
that's true. See, and Hitler was so smart, he got rid of Einstein. You know,
Yeah.
he made it so that Einstein was not welcome.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Right.
exactly right. Yeah.
Smart guy.
Smart guy.
All right,
So we have another Hitler that's rising to power.
Now, let's
don't
not
call
get off.
Hillary,
Let's
come
not
on,
get off.
she's not that bad.
Let's
And,
not get off on a
and
tangent
you
here.
spelled his name correctly.
Oh
All
my
right,
goodness.
So we have about 1 minute before we have to cut the break.
I was going to say, as far as sports is concerned, sports is an important part of our culture, and it's important for all of us to have that diversion and have that excitement and color in our lives that gives us a little relief.
So I just figured out why Colin Kaepernick was getting death threats. It's
Yeah.
because sports and music are supposed to bring us together, and he is driving us apart.
Oh.
And that's the perception.
I mean, like,
Okay. Well,
that could be.
my point was that I
I
think
mean, not death threats.
to separate, you can't separate sports from all these other things that are going on. It's an integral
But we
part of our
want
world.
it, but we want it as part of our fantasy. It's that respite away from the horror of the real
well, and most
world.
of the time it is. And most of the
that's
time
true.
it is. And I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
I mean, when I watch sports, I don't want
that's a good
I
thing.
don't want any political type thing one way or the other.
I think that's a good thing, that not to have it too heavy. Once in a while it's good to have it in there though,
Because sports is black and white united, being
Yeah.
treated equally,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
and most of us accept that and like that.
Yeah.
Which means you stand up for the Star Spangled Banner.
Or you sit down, either one.
Whatever you want to do.
Or you don't
Because
play it at all.
or you don't play it at all. Exactly, and especially you don't play it for money.
You know, I bet you
Yeah,
I've seen
no,
it.
no,
I bet you I have
yeah.
seen the national anthem played or heard it more than anybody, with the exception of a few, probably about 6,000 times, because I've been to about 6,000 major sports events, college, professional. And I have to tell you, I just wish America the Beautiful were our national anthem, because that talks about the fruited plains and the
Yeah.
Purple Mountains majesty, not about some little obscure battle in a war that nobody
That's
remembers.
true. Well, it's
You know?
And the
it's
song ain't that good either.
No, it's not.
And it's hard to sing.
It's very hard to
Yeah.
sing. You
Also,
know?
in fact, I remember if you didn't take your hat off,
Oh,
put it on your heart. Boy, that was another
Yeah.
kick
Yeah.
in the tushy.
I always stand up though. I do.
Okay, I do. Okay, here's our last.
And
trivia
I
question.
do too. Even though I went to jail protesting against the Vietnam War, I will stand for the
Okay.
national anthem because it's optimistic.
There you go. I like that. Okay,
Yes.
here's our last trivia question. Michael Jordan used to wear number 23. When he came out of retirement, what number did he wear temporarily? All right,
That's a
don't
good
touch
one.
that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
Can I just ask a fast question because I'm going to run? You say before 2009, the players on the NFL stayed in the locker room?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
That's the most fascinating thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard.
I
I went to
I
49er
was
games
doing
at
research
Esau.
for
No,
my-
I remember. It's funny. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Because I have all these
know that-
right-wing people that I'm going to meet right now, and I'm going to push that one right down their throat.
No, it's true. Because I've covered all these games.
And-
What happens is it's done during a commercial break. Then they play the national anthem, and then the players come out.
Right.
That's what it used to be.
But okay.
And
so
then the
where's
money started
so,
flowing
yeah,
from
I
the
got you.
government.
No, but what's the money from the government is just the idea of see we have players
It
coming for
promotes it because they're trying to recruit.
for the
Right,
Oh,
it's
interesting,
a,
interesting.
because
Wow.
so the National Guard has been paid millions of dollars as
to
well
come out with
to the NFL
Yeah.
teams.
And the NFL's not going to say, "Hey, no,
No,
we can use
yeah.
that." They
I
want
have
that
one
money.
other comment before I get out of here. It's on the Jewish thing, which I find fascinating. Most of my close friends are Jewish, but I grew up in San Francisco. I grew up on the other side of San Francisco, basically out in the Mission, out in that area or whatever. And in junior high school, in the 7th grade, I moved from there to out into the Sunset District,
Which was Jewish refugees
and I
from
got
Germany.
and I got bussed over.
My aunt and uncle lived on 42nd and Lawton.
You know, I got bussed over from the Sunset District over to the Richmond District, okay? And guess what was the first thing I met over there? I had never seen one before. I'd never met one before, a Jewish person. I had never, ever met, seen, or somebody said the person's Jewish. I didn't know.
Because that was the nature of our country. Everything was
Neighborhood.
neighborhoods and isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I didn't really know. I knew a few Jewish people, but I never really thought about it until I went away to college at the University of Denver, and about 15% of our student population was Jewish. And some of my non-Jewish friends used to make these anti-Semitic kind of cutting little remarks. I go, what is that all
I
about?
grew up
You
in
know?
New York, which had more Jews than
Yeah.
Israel. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, I grew up in a Puerto Rican, Jewish, Italian, black neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's nothing
and
like. And you live in Manhattan? Or?
in Manhattan,
Where-
on the edge of Harlem.
Oh wow.
I'm going to run.
All
Good
right.
to see you guys. You guys do this every Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring an audience or something.
I'm when I get out of jail, I come here. That's my
Take
first
care of that. How'd
first
you do
stop.
that to your hand?
I took a bad fall.
Ouch.
Nice
All right.
meeting you.
Good to see you. I'll
Good.
seriously
All right.
good
We
to
only
see
say
you
hi
again.
to Bill next time you see him. If you see
Oh, I
him.
talk to him all the time.
I
So.
probably will see him, but
Yeah.
I just catch him on the fly whenever I'm over.
All right.
All right.
He's a really nice.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
Okay, we just just have like literally a very, very short time.
Okay.
I'm ready to go to the bathroom, so
Okay.
I'm gonna leave.
You're gonna leave?
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
you give me your card though, would you please? Because I'm going to be a little out of sorts here for these next few weeks, but I want.
But it was, oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I do want to get Willie at the theater, and his
Let's
gal.
talk. Call me.
Yeah, his gal. It's not. She wasn't rude about it, but she said, "Oh, you know,
Ah,
he's
I'll get you in.
76 and he just doesn't want to do these things anymore unless it's a lot of money." And
I'll get you in.
you know, I understand.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. We can.
Yeah. it was a little out of control. We had a good time. What a character he is.
Yeah,
He's
he
something else.
definitely is.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host for the last time today. Holy smokes, and Bruce McGowan.
Always a pleasure being with you here.
Boy, I tell you,
The fur was flying
it
today.
was- it was.
No, we
I'm
were.
exhausted. I
we were
had
having
a good time, but I'm
Yeah.
exhausted.
Edward
Okay.
is. I mean,
David?
David. I'm sorry. Yeah,
He's
you're
a,
Edward.
he's a wild.
I'm Bob. Actually, I'm Bruce.
Bruce. He is a, I don't want to say he's a loose cannon, he's a firecracker.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
is. He is.
Here was our third trivia question. Michael Jordan used to wear number 23 when he came out of retirement. What number did he wear?
I think it was 42,
Close.
41,
Close.
44,
No.
43,
No.
45. Jeez, I was getting there.
You're getting pretty
Process
close.
of elimination.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, next week,
Next week,
we're not going to have Bob Myers.
we're going to try to get Bob Myers on, the general manager of the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors of the NBA. Bob is, as you know, the NBA season is about to start its training camp, hard to believe. And they have changed a lot of things over there with the Warriors bringing in Kevin Durant, and Steve Kerr has got a much different team to play with this year. But they're going to try to win that championship back. LeBron James and the Cavs, here they come at you.
That's right. It'll just be like the Giants, where every other year they'll win.
There you
That'll
go.
work for me.
Yeah.
All right, here's our thoughts for the day. In 1980, a Las Vegas hotel suspended workers for betting on when patients would die. Come on, Seven! Daddy needs a new pair of
God, are you
shoes.
serious?
Yep, 1980, a Las Vegas hospital
Wow.
suspended workers for betting on when patients would die. That's
That is
amazing.
really sick.
And if they didn't invent electricity, you know what? We'd all be watching television by candlelight.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. David Vogelstein, thank you again for joining us on Sports.
My
Econ
honor,
101.
my privilege. I love being with you guys.
That was a taste.
I was
That was.
I was telling Bruce, because he'd stepped out for a minute, that I was exhausted. I had a lot of fun, but I was exhausted.
Really,
like
I
being
have a thin sheen of sweat.
But you
He's good in front of the courtroom. You gotta see this guy.
yeah, he's quite the firecracker.
Yes.
All right, so tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective, giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
Good night.
All right.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was fun.
It's
So
always fun
the
to be
more
on.
the filter goes away, the more fun there is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I mean, the nice thing about this